Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for FND Racing Tuesday Night race at Daytona International Speedway. I am Atlee Weeds, and I'll be your broadcaster for tonight's race featuring the Gander outdoor trucks and the exciting drivers from FND Racing. And you might be asking yourself, what is FND Racing? And I'll tell you it straight. It is one of the oldest online racing simulation groups of any racing game or simulation. And their roots that goes back to a NASCAR video game at Sierra Papyrus's NASCAR 4, and it debuted in 10 days before Dale Earnhardt's death in 2001. The core of the group can be traced back to the Golem 38, which were 104 lap races that Monty Noise hosted. They then migrated to NASCAR 2002 and NASCAR 2003 before jumping to where we are now, which is iRacing. They are not a league, although they have done a league thing before. They're just now a group of guys who share the same passion of heart-pumping, white-knuckle super speedway racing. While they do have a team within the group, they will work with those who race with them, win in other races. Just looking for great side-by-side racing with few or even no cautions, then check FND Racing out. And their rooms are always open, and unless you prove to be a bonehead, you are welcome to race with us. So the broadcast tonight is brought to you by the sponsors of Atlee Racing, which include Premier Heating and Air Services, Juan's Mexican Cafe and Cantina, Dayton Wee State Farm, Go-To Property Services, Smith Wraps and Graphics, Damon's Lawn Service and Landscaping, Motivated Auto Sales, Bobby's Auto Service Center, and Amsoil East Coast Synthetics. Thank you to all the sponsors of Atlee Racing for their support. And make sure to check some of those businesses that I've just named out. They're great quality companies, and they support us. So last week, F&D was in the Cup cars at Daytona, and as usually, they were fun to watch. So in the Cinco de Mayo race on Tuesday, Gabe Butler took the checkered flag with an exciting green-white checkered finish. Dale Willoughby took second, finishing only 0.18 of a second behind Gabe. Paul Sheldon took third, while Everett Lane finished fourth, and Joseph Wright came across the line in fifth. They had some pretty good racing, although they did have 5 cautions and no green flag pit stops. Gabe Butler sat on the pole with a 45.786, and Joe Delavecchia had the fastest lap of the race with a 43.013. The race had 10 different lead changes among 6 different drivers, with Mike Jenkins leading a race-high 14 laps, and Gabe Butler not far behind in laps led with 13. Then on Friday night, we saw Gabe Butler cap off his sweep of last week's races by beating Maurice Johnson to the line by 48 hundredths. Joe Delavecchia finished third, Eric Laurie finished fourth, and Paul Sheldon took the final spot on the podium. The racing was a lot better on Friday night with only 3 cautions and a green flag pit stop. Rusty Greer sat on the pole with a scorching 45.777 and slapped the race with a 43.125 on lap number 28. The race then finished on a green-white checkered. They had 16 lead changes with 7 different drivers, and Gabe Butler led the most with 42 laps led, and not far behind was Josh Hall, who led 21 laps. So tonight, we are going to have a 1-lap qualifier and a 50-lap race at Daytona, and I'm going to give you some information on Daytona. When Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, it marked the beginning of a new era in American motorsports. As a replacement for the old beach road course a few miles east, the high-banked 2.5-mile Florida Tri-Oval represented the leading edge of a wave of construction of big paved speed palaces. Before Daytona, Indianapolis was the only American oval track longer than 1.25 miles, with most of the racing taking place on dirt ovals a mile or less in length. From the very first Daytona 500, won by Lee Petty in a 3-way photo finish, those 31-degree high bank turns so steep that it is hard to walk up them, and the 18-degree tri-oval proved a favorable venue for wide-open stock car racing, and Daytona kicked off the growth of NASCAR as we know it today. Daytona was also the first multi-use facility with a 3.56-mile road course. incorporating the infield and most of the oval. It also hosts not only the Daytona 500, but the Rolex 24 Sports Car Enduro Bike Weeks, Daytona 200, Daytona Kart Week between Christmas and New Year's, and a host of driving school, clubs, and other events. Daytona's busy and diverse schedule confirms the track's motto as the World Super Speedway, the World Center of Racing. So we're excited to be racing here at Daytona International Speedway. It's definitely a interesting track, and it should be fun to see what these drivers can do, and we'll hopefully see some exciting action. And tonight we're gonna thank our sponsor of the race, and that is Bobby's Auto Service Center. And Bobby Polk has owned Bobby's Auto Service Center since 2008, and whatever the vehicle, you can trust Bobby's for all of your auto repair needs. The staff includes 2 former automotive dealership master technicians, and Bobby himself has over 20 years of experience. They offer Jasper transmissions and motors and can get any kind of tire you're looking for. Is your check engine light on? With their vast knowledge of computer diagnostics, they can help. They also do state inspections, regular oil changes, and all vehicle maintenance. And yes, they do brakes and alignments too. Take it from me, whether you're looking for new tires, you need a major repair, or just an oil change, Bobby's Auto Service Center is the place to visit. Bobby's is conveniently located at 2862 George Washington Memorial Highway in Hayes, Virginia, right off Route 17. Call them at 804-642-4950. Again, 804-642-4950 if you have any questions, or you can stop in and see why it's the area's leading auto service repair. So when you're there, don't forget to tell Jasper the Shop Dog that Atlee says hi. It's a very cute dog, and you will love to see Jasper the Shop Dog and maybe give him some pets. So we'll be back soon with some racing. We're experiencing some technical difficulties, and we'll be back with some racing soon. sorry for the technical difficulties. iRacing actually split the servers, but we're back. We did end up missing qualifying, but so did all the drivers. So welcome everyone to Intensity Broadcasting for FND Racing Tuesday Night at Daytona International Speedway. I am Atlee Atman Weiss, and I'll be your broadcaster for tonight's race featuring the Gander Outdoors trucks and the exciting drivers for FND Racing. So the starting order for this race, starting in first position, Gabe Butler. Starting second is Eric Laurie. And they're all the people that qualify. So yeah, Gabe Butler's in first, Eric Laurie's in second. Paul Sheldon is in third, Joseph Wright is in fourth, Dale Willoughby is in fifth, Anthony Hanley is in sixth, and Daniel Rendall is in seventh. So 7 cars, only one can win. Question is, who will that one car be? Would be the most dominant driver this season? Gabe Butler, one of the FND drivers like Joseph Wright or Daniel Rendall, another face like Dale Willoughby, a newer driver like Anthony Hanley. Could be anyone. All right, pace truck pulls in.
Green.
And green flags out here at Daytona International Speedway, with the front row being Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie, and the cars take off. Now we're gonna already start paying attention to line switching, seeing if anybody does it early on in the race. There is a hole open between Paul Sheldon and Anthony Hanley. If Dale Willoughby wants to maybe pull up there, just like Anthony Hanley has closed in the gap, Daniel Rendall moves down to the bottom line now. Eric Laurie and Joseph Wright, both of them pull down in front of Gabe Butler, leaving Dale Willoughby as the leader of the top line. He's going to move down to the bottom line now, and we're single file after only one lap has been completed, but Paul Sheldon moves to the high side now, trying to mix things up in the number 52 Captain Morgan car. Will anybody else join him up there on the high side, or will we continue to see single file racing with everyone else? Maybe a driver who was in second or third might jump on the opportunity to take the lead again. Here comes Anthony Hanley behind Paul Sheldon, another driver who is going to try to help him get up there. One thing to keep in mind, you see that they're not getting all the way up on the bumpers like Cup cars can. These drivers cannot bump drag, or else bad things will happen. Anybody else? I'm really wondering if maybe Gabe Butler in the third place car or Joseph Wright in the first place car might pull up and try to take the lead from Eric Laurie. Potentially, they're getting some speed. The 2-car pack does. Did Daniel Rendall? Where's Daniel Rendall? Did he move up anywhere? Did he move up there? He's just out to the side. He's not going to really play a major factor yet. Oh yeah, he's going to probably be drafting on those top cars and give them a little boost. And he can stay up there in the pack successfully. Will anybody else try to join Paul Sheldon and Anthony Hanley up there? So now Daniel Rendall has pretty much gotten up there with them, so he's now producing a major draft with the 3 cars. And they're now going to try to make a rally up front to Eric Laurie. Will we see potentially any other line switching? There's not really any gaps between any drivers. They don't have quite as many cars as the others. And this is just so awesome what these drivers are racing on. It's called iRacing, and if you or anyone you know is a racing fan, this is like the perfect thing to get someone for maybe birthday, Christmas. It's a great gift, or if you just want to treat yourself to racing, it's great for racing fans. Or if you are maybe a race car driver, it's a great practice tool. Some of the famous NASCAR drivers, we've seen the Pro Invitational, a lot of famous NASCAR drivers and former NASCAR drivers race on the iRacing platform. And you can be like one of those famous NASCAR drivers and race yourself. You can race with people from all around the world and race with your friends. You can also spot for your friend. You can watch races. Like I went to iRacing and I went to watch, and I'm watching this race in iRacing right now. So many awesome things that you can do in iRacing. And they've now just added a new track, North Wilkesboro. They're adding some old, they're adding like a Thunderbird and like the old Chevrolet, the 80s and stuff. So they add new content once in a while to keep things fresh. There's over 80 tracks, including all the configurations, and over 80 different cars you can race in. It's if you're a racing fan, it is like being a kid in a candy store if you get iRacing, because there's so many fun things you can do. You can just test and just race around a track and have some fun. It doesn't do anything to your safety rating. Or you can try to be a famous iRacer and you can get your rating up. Speaking of rating, like for example, the highest driver with the highest iRating in this race, Gabe Butler, has a 3722. All of these guys are in A class, so if you already do have iRacing and you're in A class, you're welcome to join us. Look and see Gabe Butler in the number 88 car. He is he's one of the great drivers. Oh, Anthony Hanley goes to the bottom and Rendall stays up there. Hanley must have got off pace while I was talking about iRacing, and I wonder if he's going to try to make another move to the high side. Who knows? Oh, Joseph Wright making a big move, moving to the high side, and he's now the leader of the top line, and he's going to try to make a rally for the lead now. It might be a smart decision now, but in the future, will it be a smart decision? I don't know. It could be a great decision for Joseph Wright. Or it might not work out. We don't know. Looks like Daniel Rendall got far away from the two. I'm not sure what happened to Daniel. Must have just gotten off pace. He's been off pace this whole race, so most likely he'll catch back up with the draft. We'll see if he can get back up there. At the time, it was a pretty smart decision from Joseph Wright. Maybe Anthony Hanley gonna try to get up there now. Maybe Gabe Butler saw that Joseph Wright made the move up there. Maybe he might try to make the move up there. Laps. And just to keep in mind, if we do stay reckless, the fuel window is about 22 to 27 laps. So it's not quite there yet. You might see people go earlier than 22 laps, and you might see people go in later than 27 laps. That's just the fuel window to keep in mind. And you'll see when we get there, when drivers start to go in. All right, there, Joseph Wright is up there. He's side by side with Eric Laurie. He's blinking though. Sometimes if the driver does not have like good internet, he might start blinking in and out. It's just they're still racing. Sometimes it's confusing for the driver behind the blinker because they don't know if they're gone or if they're there. Who is that? Oh, Anthony Hanley. pulls down. I wonder what happened. There he is. In the 7 car. But what's he doing? I wonder why he made that decision. I think he's getting towed. I don't know. But it's not exactly. It didn't really. I don't think he was going in for fuel. Unless it's some strategy. I don't think Anthony Handley is going for fuel. And he's now 1 lap down. He's left the server, so I think we can say that Anthony Handley is done for the day. He had a decent car. He was up in the high side for a little bit. We're now single file with all 6 remaining drivers. And we'll most likely be like this, either unless there's a caution or once we get back to 5 laps to go and things get competitive. We'll see some fuel strategies, hopefully. And the drivers might have different fuel strategies, but depending on who you're aligned with. There's the FND team, and that consists of the 2 drivers, Gander and Joseph Wright. And there's another alliance, which is Lori, Butler, Willoughby, and Paul Sheldon. They are also aligned in a group. They might have different strategies pit-wise, or they could have the same pit strategies and they'll all go in at once. Some drivers might think there's going to be a caution. Some think we're going to go green for the entire race. It really varies on the driver and what they think is going to happen. So far, it's been all Eric Laurie for the whole race. He's been the leader. Nobody's making any moves. And they'll most likely start becoming aggressive. Maybe like 5 laps to go. Who knows? Now we're at lap number 15. You see that the lap counter is working, so I'll just say with the lap, when like there's some milestone, like 30 laps to go, 20 laps to go, 10 laps to go. And we're getting closer and closer to the time where drivers will start going into the pits for fuel. Daniel and what? Oh, yeah, there's something. Joseph Wright's now 1 lap down. Not sure what happened exactly. He hasn't left the race yet, but it might be fuel strategy potentially. And we'll see if that was a good decision to go into the pits. Oh, just to tell some, Joseph Wright was the blinking one, and he seems to be having some computer issues. Hopefully he can get that figured out. And we'll see him. But in this 3-car pack of Eric Laurie, Lee Butler, and Dale Willoughby, but they seem to be catching up. I was about to say that they were to run away, but they're catching back up. We're now pretty much inward. It's the earliest I've ever seen someone go in, lap number 17, but I doubt any of these drivers will pull in this close. Unless they're kind of. We're going to take this time again to thank our Atlee Weiss Racing sponsors for all their support, and they include Premier Heating and Air Services, Juan's Mexican Cafe and Cantina, Gateway State Farm, Go-To Property Services, Smith Wraps and Graphics, Damon's Lawn Service and Landscaping, Motivated Auto Sales, Bobby's Auto Service Center, and Amsoil East Coast Synthetics. Thank you to all of their supports, and we also want to get a little bit in depth into one of our sponsors, and that is Bobby's Auto Service Center for being our sponsor of the race. And Bobby Polk has owned Bobby's Auto Service Center since 2008, and whatever the vehicle, you can trust Bobby's for all of your auto repair needs. The staff includes 2 former automotive dealership master technicians, and Bobby himself has over 30 years of experience. They offer Jasper transmissions and motors. You can get any kind of tire you were looking for. Is your check engine light on? With their vast knowledge of computer diagnostics, they can help fix it. They also do state inspections, regular oil changes, and all types of vehicle maintenance. And yes, they do brake and alignments too, if you were wondering. So take it from me, whether you're looking for new tires, you need a major repair, or just an oil change, Bobby's Auto Service Center is the place to visit. Oh, I'm going to take this time right now. Drivers are heading into the pits right now. Let's watch the race on pit road. And let's see who wins the race. All drivers are going. And Gabe Butler wins the race off the pit road. Second place, Eric Laurie. Third is Dale Willoughby. Fourth was Paul Sheldon. Fifth was Daniel Rindall. So that was pretty much the standings before. Oh no! Daniel Rindall is going for a spin there and did a few donuts. I'm not sure what happened to Daniel Rindall, but he gets his car back going. What? Yeah, the trucks are very challenging. I'm not going to say vehicles to drive. And the kind of thing that happened to Daniel M. Rindall could happen to anyone due to the trickiness of the trucks. Dale Willoughby and Eric Laurie go to the high side of Gabe Butler. Eric Laurie is trying to regain the lead again. They're going to pull in, and we're single file again after those green flag pit stops, and we are now officially 30 laps to go in the race. And this has been pretty, I'm not going to say competitive, but one driver's been competitive, and that is Eric Laurie, the number 071 John Deere Chevrolet Silverado. He has a great car. Let's look at some of the paint schemes. Great paint scheme. The 071 John Deere machine. John Deere isn't exactly known for being a NASCAR sponsor, but one driver, Chad Little, he raced in the number 97 Chevrolet car in like 1998. That was a very famous paint scheme. For those of you who might know him, he's kind of a hidden NASCAR gem. Not many people know him. 7-car Miller Genuine Draft. Any Rusty Wallace fans or Brad Keselowski's ran it for throwbacks a couple times. It's another very iconic, a very iconic NASCAR paint scheme, and very well known. The 88 car now, Guinness. There have been a lot of beer companies that sponsored NASCAR drivers. Busch, Coors, Budweiser, Miller, but I have never seen Guinness on any cars. So this is Gabe Butler's own unique car, and it's got like Dale Earnhardt Jr. on it. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he owns like a restaurant, Whiskey River, in Charlotte, and they have Guinness, I guess. It's a great looking car. Then in fourth place, there's Monsters Assault, number 37 car of Daniel Rendall. Now that's another NASCAR that I've never seen any NASCAR driver run, but it's a great looking car for any Monster Energy fans. Monster Energy has been a NASCAR. It sponsored the NASCAR series for a little bit. It's been an ongoing sponsor for Kurt Busch. Now, the number 2 car of Joseph Wright, he is looking good. He has, in the 2, it's white. And he has the quote on it. It says, "We're all in timeout." That's hilarious. And that's it. Looks like Paul Sheldon has manually disconnected. Joseph Wright is back in. I'm not sure what happened to Paul Sheldon. He was off pace after they went off of pit road. So, I'm not sure. We're still single file with the 3 drivers, Lori, Willoughby, and Butler, and the 3 of them have probably been the best FND drivers that I've seen since I've been announcing. They've won the majority of these races, these 3. And most of them were won by Gabe Butler. Gabe Butler swept last week's 2 races. He won on Tuesday and Friday. I don't know how he did it. And could he get 3 in a row today? I don't know. It's going to take some skill because he is in the 3rd position, but it could happen if he is competitive in the final laps. 25 laps to go on the board for the viewers out there. Due to the confusion of like iRacing split servers, due to that the confusion, there isn't that many drivers in this race. Right now there's only 6, and looks like Daniel Emrandall now has manually disconnected, and Joseph Wright now has manually disconnected. So now it's just the 3 cars of Eric Laurie, Dale Willoughby, and we're gonna pull Joseph Wright into the bowl and see what's happening.
Yeah, I sure do, Allie. What's up, man? So I was having some graphical issues, and then, so they started a server at the normal time, and then another one opened up. I think they're trying to get a handle on how to wipe the track or clear the marbles and debris in between sessions. And the communication was just lost in the mix of the 2. They might be racing a fuller race over wherever Rob is. I'm not sure if he's racing or not. So.
Yeah, because now it's only 3 cars, and Lori, Willoughby, and Butler. It's probably going to be single file until it's the final one. Well,
yeah.
Sorry about the graphical issues, and hopefully we'll see you Friday and see if you can make a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a car to race with tonight for sure. I was right there.
well, it's down to these three cars: Eric Laurie, Dale Willoughby, and Gabe Butler, and they're all running single file right now. And this is kind of like practice a little bit. They're gonna just probably switch out leaders every so often. They're all teammates, so they're most likely they're communicating with each other right now on like who's staying in the lead and stuff. It was disappointing that Joseph Wright had some graphical issues. Like he said, he had one of the cars to beat. But now we're down to 3 cars. I don't know how many cars are in the other server. But we'll stay here in this FND server. And hopefully in a couple laps it produces exciting racing in the final laps. Right now it's single file between Eric Laurie, Dale Willoughby, and Gabe Butler. And I don't know, this is probably the lowest numbers cars I've ever seen in FND Racing, but mainly because of the communication errors and people mainly disconnecting. There's 3 cars, 20 laps to go on the scoreboard. By the way, since there isn't like a lap counter on the screen right now. Even though these drivers are teammates, Eric Laurie and Dale Willoughby and Gabe Butler, and they're communicating with each other, it's going to come down to who wants it more. Because even though they're teammates, at the end, it's every man for himself. And that should come into play in the final laps. With like 3 laps to go. We'll start seeing some moves made. They're teammates right now, of course, and they work together for most of the race. In some of the races where we have more cars, you see them drafting with each other. But at the end of the day, whether you're teammates or not, it's pretty much every man for himself. We've seen in NASCAR teammates wreck each other. Teams are like alliances, and they do help in super speedway racing because it gives them someone to draft with. But honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And just a disclaimer, Intensity Broadcasting, please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and we also have a website at www.intensitybroadcasting.com. It gives you a little bit of information on us, including if you have a league that you race in, or you're starting a new league and you want someone to announce it. We are definitely willing to announce Intensity Broadcasting is broadcasting. It's not like Intensity Racing Broadcast. We can do other things esports wise, but mainly racing. If you have another racing league that you want someone to announce, you can contact us. So look, we're on board with the 7 car of Dale Willoughby behind Eric Laurie, and this is what it looks like from his perspective on whatever Dale Willoughby is racing in, whether it's just a folding chair and like a wheel, or some drivers have like more like that. Now that's the actual view that he's looking at. Again, this is what it looks like from his setup. Some drivers just have like a folding chair and a wheel. Others have very elaborate setups that make you feel like you're actually in a real race car. And there's like the cheapest setup, and then there's a middle setup, and then there's like a very expensive setup. And these drivers are very great drivers. It takes a lot to be an A class, one of the highest classes to be in besides Pro. It's the highest class until you get to Pro. So if anybody watching, if you are an A class and you want to be on like a channel like Twitch and like us and be seen from around the world, then FND Racing, like I said, the rooms are always open, and unless you prove to be a bonehead, you're welcome to race with us, of course. These drivers, you can make some virtual friends. A lot of the FND guys are very nice, and they'll accept you into the group. And glass of tears, you are a bonehead. And we're always open for new drivers. And if you do want to participate in an FND and you are an A class, you're welcome to join with us. It isn't for everybody, but if you're an A class, you can join us. This is an A class series. And we announce other racing. We announce on Mondays the Short Track Super Stock Series. We announced that last night at Oxford Plains Speedway, and that was exciting to see some short track racing. And we've done like a cash league before. We do all kinds of racing action, and the reason why we're calling Intensity Broadcasting is because even though you're not seeing it right now, sometimes racing can be intense, and for these drivers, when they're feeling competitive, the intensity is real, and you can feel the intensity, and the racing is intense, and looks like somebody is going into the pits, and let's watch the race off of pit road. See who wins it off. So all three of them go in. What will they take? And Gabe Butler first. Second was Eric Lurie. Third was Dale Willoughby. Gabe Butler's now the front driver, then it's Dale Willoughby. And last is Eric Lurie. And the rankings are subject to change in the coming laps. And still, these drivers aren't, they're teammates for now. They're going to get grouped back together, hopefully. Oh, looks like we got the lap counter back. So, still, I'll still say how many laps to go occasionally if it's like a milestone. But we got the lap counter back. Oh, here goes some drivers. Gabe Butler went to the high side. Dale Willoughby and Eric Lurie go below him. We're now single file again. And yeah, that was just an agreement on who goes in front. And looks like we're now 10 laps to go in the race officially. And so this should be when things start to get exciting. Drivers start making moves to the front. It's been these three cars for most of the race. And a lot of drivers have manually disconnected. Looks like Gabe Butler did move to the high side. He then pulls back down to the bottom line. And we should now, so these drivers will not have to pit anymore. That last pit stop was their final pit stop. Ooh, Gabe Butler moves to the high side. Again, top line, trying to see if anybody will join him up there. I think he's going to just pull back down. Yes, because there's really nobody else to join him up there. He tried. He's trying to get enough speed to maybe get by. He's side drafting with Eric Laurie. And that makes Eric Laurie unstable, which helps Gabe Butler get by him. And but it's dangerous for both guys when you side draft. Let's go in the cockpit with Gabe, and this is what it looks like to be Gabe Butler. He's in a very important position right now in third place. If he wants to win this race, he has to make this way all the way up through the field and get past Dale Willoughby if he wants to win this race. And same thing with Eric Laurie. He needs to move up position if he wants. And then Dale Willoughby's job is to just keep both of them from taking the lead by blocking. And there he goes. Gabe Butler trying the side draft thing again. And he's just going to pull back down to the bottom. Gabe Butler's been trying to make moves, but the driver that has a better chance of getting it by side drafting, that's the 071 of Eric Laurie. He hasn't seemed to make any bold moves yet, unlike Gabe Butler, who has been making some major moves. So he pulls high. Gabe Butler, they're side by side into the turns. Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie. Now they're not single file again, but Gabe Butler is not going to stop it without trying. He wants 3 in a row. He has to try something. The laps are winding down for Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie to try to pass Dale Willoughby. 5 laps to go. Right when we pass the stripe, it's going to be 5 laps to go, and this is when it should get exciting and put the intensity in intensity broadcasting. Drivers are going to start making moves now because they know that they only have 5 laps to make their way up through the field and to win the race. Gabe Butler is he keeps trying to do something. He pulls to the high side. He's right there on the quarter panel of Eric Laurie. I'm surprised Eric Laurie. Alright, there's single file again into turn 3 and 4. Ooh, he's right there. Gabe Butler can't quite get by Eric Laurie. 4 laps to go. It's 4 laps to go. what are these drivers going to do? Here's what it looks like to be Dale Willoughby. Not what it'd be like, but if you were on, like, if we put like a camera on his rear quarter panel. Not his rear quarter panel, but like, just, yeah, rear quarter panel. Eric Laurie, you see him, he's peeking up there. They're saying stuff on, they might be on like a public chat. Like possibly like a Discord server. Now, 3 laps to go. Yep, 3 laps to go. We saw them starting to make a move. But nobody's, oh, Gabe Butler pulls up to the high side again. We saw him contemplating that move, planning, and he seems to do it now. Will he make it stick, though? He's going to continue trying to side draft on Eric Laurie, trying to get him unstable enough to pass him. Now, we are 2 laps to go. Still, Gabe Butler is trying. He can't. He doesn't seem to be. He doesn't have the car. The only way he could pass Dale Willoughby is if he started drafting with Eric Laurie, but he can't seem to get up there. And Eric Laurie is he's staying behind Dale Willoughby, not moving, being patient. And this is when we should see all the moves start to be made. We're getting close, officially, to 1 lap to go. And it's now on the board. 1 lap to go in this race. We're single file right now. Gabe Butler is still trying. I don't think he can do it, though, with the final laps of this race. It's now pretty much Dale Willoughby and Eric Laurie. If Eric Laurie wants to be competitive, is he going to peek out in the straightaway? No, he doesn't. Will he peek out in the turns? He doesn't. All right. Now in the back straightaway, Eric Laurie goes low. And we're side by side. Wait. Eric Laurie. Whoa. What? Wow. I was not expecting that. Eric Laurie pulled out from under Dale Willoughby. Right. And actually, Gabe Butler made contact. Yep, right there on the back bumper of Dale Willoughby. And that was just enough for Eric Laurie to swoop by with the win. And he won it by 33 hundredths of a second. Great win to Eric Laurie in the number 071 John Deere Chevrolet Silverado. Finishing results. First place was Eric Laurie. Second, and Eric Laurie is from the state of, or he at least is representing Club Florida. So if you're from Florida, we have a driver, and look at some donuts. So if anybody is from Florida watching, know that Eric Laurie is representing your state. But again, continuing on with the rankings, second place was Dale Willoughby. Third place was Gabe Butler. Fourth place was Daniel Lindahl. Fifth place was Paul Sheldon. Sixth place was Joseph Wright, and seventh place was Anthony Hanley. Great race here at Daytona, and thank you for joining us on Intensity Broadcasting for FND Racing Tuesday Night at Daytona International Speedway. I am Atlee and I hope you enjoyed tonight's race. Please like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook to see more racing action like this, and we hope to see you next time. Over